You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Young and the Restless fans, we've got new spoilers for next week, and Sharon Newman is face-to-face with a tormentor from her past. Plus, we have Claire Newman cutting really loose and getting wild. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we've got the latest Y&R spoilers for the week of November 3rd. But before we dive in, please hit subscribe if you're not already following us. All right. Let's start with Claire Newman's new wild child side that we're getting while she's in LA. Jack Abbott called Kyle Abbott and said he needed to come back home to Genoa City. And he did, not only for the Jabot crisis as they face Kane Ashby's stolen AI, but also for Harrison Abbott. Kyle came home to do trick-or-treating with his son Harrison, which is a good dad thing to do. But while Kyle is with Harrison getting some good treats, it looks like Claire is being a very naughty girl in Los Angeles and up to some new tricks. Holden and Claire are out dancing on Halloween at the Shadow Room. Of course, that's Sienna and Mitch Bacall's club, and they're doing some drinking, but Claire doesn't want to get blitzed. She drinks some water and wants to make sure that she has a clear head, so that Holden knows that what she says she wants, and she's consenting to, and she's sober enough to say this. And what Claire wants is Holden. So Claire and Holden are going to make love after she says she doesn't want to talk about Kyle's stupid face and doesn't seem interested when Holden says he thinks that Kyle still loves her. But Holden's got a huge crush on Claire, and so he's very happy to be with her, very happy to take her to bed. But we all know that Kyle is going to come absolutely unglued when he finds out Claire got intimate with Holden. Before this, Kyle was the only guy that Claire had ever slept with. Remember, she lost her virginity with him, and Kyle wanted to be the only man that Claire would ever be with because he wanted to marry her. But that's all off the table after she gets frisky with Holden in Los Angeles, and we know it's going to come out. Kyle's going to lose it, and that's probably going to drive a deeper wedge between him and Claire. All right, let's talk about the big reveal of brand new Noah Newman coming next week. He has been in a medically induced coma since he came out of surgery, but next week, Sharon Newman and Nick Newman are thrilled when Noah is finally awake from the coma. We know that there's a new actor in the role, Lucas Adams, and Y&R fans finally get a look at new Noah next week. The doctor tells Nick and Sharon that they're ready to take off his bandages, and Sharon says she can't wait to see his beautiful face. It's a big moment. And yeah, so we're going to get to see him. You guys are going to like him. He's a real hunk. But here's the big thing to talk about. Sharon's tormentor returning. This is the third terrible blast from her past that she's had over the past year. We had Cameron Kirsten back, actually over the last couple of years. We had Cameron Kirsten back to mess with Sharon. If you remember, he kidnapped Faith, and they were down in the sewers, and then Sharon stabbed Cameron to death. And then when another villain from her past, Ian Ward, returned and he drugged her, well, Cameron was back to torment her as a hallucination. And now one of Sharon's worst nightmares is back in the flesh. It is Matt Clark, only we were introduced to him as Mitch Bacall. So this is the husband of Sienna Bacall, the lady who is a friend of Holden's and that runs the Shadow Room, the club that Claire and Holden have been hanging out at. And as this week ends, we find out new info about Noah that relates to these two. So as Sienna is talking to Sharon, we have her revealing that Noah has actually been to LA a few times in the past few months to visit Mitch repeatedly. And according to Sienna, Mitch was thinking about investing in his club. And then Sharon asks Sienna if she can talk to Mitch, but she says her husband's out of town, and Sienna said he won't be back until the next day. So Sienna promises to let Sharon know once Mitch is back. Sharon goes outside, she calls Nick, she fills him in, and then says she thinks that Sienna is hiding something. And of course, Nick agrees. Sharon thinks that Mitch and Sienna know more about why Noah was run off the road that night. And then Sharon and Nick talk about going back to the shadow room to talk to Mitch and Sienna together tomorrow once he's back. So Sharon is still outside the club on the phone with Nick, and then she ends the call, turns around, runs right into a totally horrible blast from her past. Sharon is stunned to see it is Matt Clark. And if you've been watching Y&R for a while, you may remember that name from Sharon's past. Matt is an awful guy. He tormented Sharon. He did horrible things to her. He's a rapist. He's a pervert. And most of all, Matt's supposed to be dead. Needless to say, Sharon is stunned and horrified to run right into Matt, and she's doubly stunned to find out he is calling himself Mitch Bacall. So next week, Young and the Restless spoilers have Nick angry when Sharon tells him that Matt is alive and in Los Angeles and suspiciously close to the accident that nearly killed their son, Noah. And of course, Nick is outraged and he wants to see Matt Clark for himself because the guy not only terrorized Sharon, but also Nick years ago. This is a huge development for November sweeps, which kicked off on Thursday, October 30th. So they're getting right into the good stuff early on in sweeps, and it's pretty disturbing. So I do wonder if Sienna is clueless that her hubby Mitch is not who he says. Also next week, Mitch and Sienna are at their club with Holden, and Mitch is happy to see him. He says Sienna told him he was in town, and Mitch mentions that it's been a long time since he has seen Holden. So I'm very interested to see the connection between Mitch and Holden, and if Holden knew about the Newmans from him before he ever came to Genoa City. I'm very curious to see if either Sienna, Holden, or Audra knows anything about Mitch's past and that he's really villainous Matt Clark. This is a fun, soapy twist because Young and the Restless had just recently confirmed that Roger Howarth was playing Sienna's husband, Mitch Bacall, but it turns out he is so much more. If you ever watch General Hospital or One Life to Live, you might have seen Roger Howarth playing an excellent victim on one of those two soaps. As Todd Manning on OLTL, he was a rapist who did horrible things. On General Hospital, he played Franco, a serial killer who then did wind up redeemed and reformed, but still, he was an absolute terror for many years. And he was absolutely amazing in both roles. So Y&R really did good landing him as recast Matt Clark, who, by the way, was originally played by the devilishly handsome Eddie Cibrian. We also have a new LAPD detective debuting later in November as part of the actual investigation into Noah's crash, because we've seen the shady, possibly fake detective. So be sure to check out our full weekly spoilers video tomorrow when we'll have a lot more for you. For the week of November 3rd through the 7th, Young and the Restless is doing sweeps upright, and I am super excited and here for it.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.